and then I order it, and it's not as good as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
and then I get disappointed. I'm like, ugh, I ordered pancakes. I could have ordered something else. Well, if they made more delicious pancakes like this.
Pancakes are the hero of any amazing weekend breakfast. If it's Saturday or Sunday, I want the house smelling like pancakes. My daughter and my wife love them, and so I have to be able to make them at a moment's notice. These are my pantry buttermilk pancakes, super fluffy, really, really delicious, and easy as pie or pancakes. Anyway, you know what I mean. We have the ingredients on hand 365 days a year. If you want to check out those ingredients, check the description box below. But let's make these pancakes and let's get cooking. The real hero to this recipe is this powdered buttermilk. I don't have regular buttermilk on hand 365 days a year, but I do have this stuff in the pantry at all times. It mixes really easily with some milk that we already have on hand, and it makes buttermilk just as good as the regular buttermilk, so I'm not even too sure why you really need buttermilk if the powdered stuff exists. And we're just going to mix a little bit of this with a whisk in a bowl, and after this is done mixing, we're just going to set it aside to let it finish coming together, and while we're doing that, let's assemble our pancake ingredients. So we're going to use this wire strainer, and we're going to throw all of our dry ingredients in there. This is just some all-purpose flour, some baking powder, a little bit of sugar, and some salt. When you take these dry ingredients, sifting them is a really essential step to making these pancakes super duper fluffy. So what that's going to do is that's going to separate all these dry particles to make sure that air mixes in with them cooking and there's no clumps. So clumps really don't expand like this fluffy stuff does. So just use a simple wire strainer, tap it through, get as much as you can out, and then pour it in. So now let's take that buttermilk that we made before and let's get that into the batter. So we're going to make this little well on the bottom, and in goes the buttermilk along with a few other ingredients. We're going to put in 1 egg, and I've let this egg come up to room temperature so it's not very cold. Here is some melted butter in a Mickey Mouse cup from the 80s. And now we're going to take our whisk and we're going to mix this all together. You can use an electric mixer, but make sure that you don't over mix. You want to make sure that you've eliminated any of the dry spots, but that the batters come up to a really nice consistency that's a little thick. If at any time you notice that it's too thick, just add a splash of milk and loosen that up. And we're going to want this batter to sit around for about 10 minutes to let that baking powder activate before it hits the skillet. So now we're going to heat up our skillet over medium heat, and we're going to go with a double skillet so we can cook 2 pancakes at the same time. And this is a non-stick skillet, but I'm still going to take this stick of butter and give it a really nice coating. So now you can see that our nice thick batter, it doesn't run, and we're going to put it onto the skillet and then just give it a little bit of a spread out. Once this batter hits the skillet, you want to see bubbling because that means that the pan is hot enough and it's cooking them to get that nice crust on the outside. One of the best parts about pancakes is that texture element, crunchy on the outside, creamy on the inside. Once they get enough color on them, you're going to give them a flip, and you can see with these, I went just a little too long and the temperature up was a little too high. But that's the name of the pancake game. Pancakes always get better as you cook them. So these are the first 2. They're going to go on the bottom, and you'll never know that these are a little overdone on one side. So we're going to set these pancakes aside to hide these slightly burned tops, and now we're going to wipe up our skillet to make sure that we're getting some nice fresh butter on there, no old stuff. And we're just going to give this a nice quick coating. And now we're going to get a second shot at getting the perfect color on the outside of these pancakes. So I've turned down my heat just a touch, and I'll probably flip these just a little earlier. One of the best parts about making pancakes with a recipe like this is how inexpensive these pancakes are. So you go to a diner and these pancakes are going to be $12.99. These cost pennies each, and these ingredients I have in the pantry all the time. So whenever I want them, I'm just literally minutes away from having delicious pancakes. And make sure that you're taking your time to spread them out really nice and get them all about the same size. Just like anything else in life, practice makes perfect. So making the perfectly round and all same side pancakes, that just takes a little practice. I get a lot of practice because people ask for pancakes all the time around here. Once you see that the edges of the pancakes are starting to get solid and these bubbles are forming in the middle, then you know that this pancake is ready to be flipped. And you can see that this is happening on both of these. So now when these are ready enough, we're going to give them a flip and look at how beautiful the outside of this and watch them rise as soon as they flip. Bang! And then that pancake starts to take some height. That baking powder activates. Everything gets super nice and fluffy. These don't need a lot of time on the other side. So once we see that they've got enough color, we're going to take this pancake, so we're going to get all that extra butter that's just been lying around on the skillet, and we're going to try to soak that up by mopping this pancake side to side. It's going to help us up on cleanup, and it's going to give that pancake that nice brown butter flavor. So once I've used these Swiffers to clean up the skillet, we're going to take these pancakes, we're going to put them right on top and cover up those little blemishes on those first two. Those are still very edible. And now let's dress these pancakes up with some fruit, because if it doesn't have some fruit, how can it be healthy? So I'm going to cut off the top of these strawberries. I like to notch out the top and then make a little heart out of the strawberry. Lets people know that you love them, and it's the secret ingredient that makes these pancakes extra delicious is the love. In addition to the strawberries, we're also going to put some blueberries and some wonderful fresh blackberries in there too. So now we're going to top this pancake, making sure that we're putting them in and around. Some of the best thing is when the syrup drips off the pancake and gets on the fruit on the plate. And then we're going to put that little butter nipple right in the middle. Oh boy, doesn't this look absolutely fantastic? And now instead of paying $12.99 at the diner, you can make these pancakes for pennies in your house any day that you want them.
I absolutely love the smell coming off of here. Pancakes just smell like Saturday and Sunday mornings. The only thing it's missing is some maple syrup, so we got some of the good stuff. So shout out to Brad's Organic Maple Syrup. Pour a decent amount on top of there. Oh, it's gonna trickle all off right into that fruit. What a nice plate right here. I already know that this is gonna be absolutely fantastic. I just want to show you, look at those lovely layers. All nice and fluffy. You can see all the little nooks and crannies in there. And you can still see that it's still got a lot of nice steam coming off of here. Well, enough talking. Let's eat these pancakes. Wow, that was an unbelievable bite of pancakes. I mean, between the maple syrup, the fluffiness of the pancake, the taste of this. Let's have another one. Trying to get this blackberry on there. Give me a little trouble. The pancakes are beautifully light, fluffy, almost creamy on the center, but none of these are underdone. I could eat this entire plate and give myself diabetes. If you like this video, check out some of my other recipe videos, and I'll see you there. Thanks.